everybody. You're listening to Talking Terror. As always, I am your host, Jacob Harper.
Hi, Mariani.
And today we're joined by a very special guest, artist Trevor Henderson.
Hey,
Hello,
how's it
Trevor.
going? Thanks for having me.
Of course, thanks for taking the time and being here. We've been a fan of your work for a while, long while. Um, and
Thank you.
of course, yeah. For those listening, Trevor Henderson, horror artist, horror author as well, super cool. Known for the works of Siren Head, other cryptid creatures, Cartoon Cat, his book Scarewaves, and its sequel, which just came out last week or week before last.
First, like the third of this month, so like a couple weeks ago now, I think.
Yeah, fresh sequel.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and that's through Scholastic, right? Through like
Yeah,
Sacred.
yeah. They're both with Scholastic, and I hope that they do well because I would love to write like a third or fourth one. So hopefully they'll come back and ask for more.
Hell yeah. I still haven't gotten a chance to read it. Already read the first one before this interview, so we're gonna dive into that here in a
Oh,
bit.
cool.
Yeah.
Um, but to start, I wanted to ask what first got you into horror and what of that led you into making horror art, kind of taking it back to the beginning.
Yeah, of course. I have always been obviously like a super huge horror fan in all its facets, and that is totally because of my dad, who was and is and continues to be a huge horror fan. And he kind of just like passed that on to me through osmosis. Because that's kind of stuff was always around even when I was really young in my childhood home. Like, my dad got in trouble for me reading his Fangorias when I was like super young. And we'd watch horror movies, like 80s horror movies as I got older. I watched The Evil Dead with him. I watched The Beyond. I watched Dawn of the Dead. I watched all these movies like I want to say when I was like 9 or 10 or maybe earlier, like super not an appropriate age for those films, but thankfully it worked out in a very positive way and it kind of reinforced horror and horror movies and horror fiction and all this stuff is a very like cozy thing for me because it became like a bonding thing with my dad all the way through my entire childhood and into my teen years. And he always encouraged, horror writing and horror art and all that good stuff. So yeah, my dad just like really, was a positive reinforcement. My mom was less positive because she didn't really quite understand it as much and was worried that I would be, you know, traumatized or come out really weird because of it. Thankfully, I think it mostly turned into a positive thing, and I've been just unbelievably lucky to be able to turn it into a career and actually like, pay my bills, my hydro bill with it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Did you have like a particular favorite growing up?
Oh, yeah. Evil Dead 2. That's got to be Evil Dead 2. I mean, that movie, there's certain horror movies, especially like 80s horror movies that I grew up with that like I don't even think about. Like they've moved past favorite movie to be like an intrinsic thing I barely even think about because of course, The Thing, of course, Evil Dead 2. Um, but yeah, Evil Dead 2 was the one that really like I was completely hooked on from a very young age. Return of the Living Dead, Zombie. Me and my dad used to go out every weekend to the mall, which barely exists anymore, and go get. I don't know if you know this brand, but there was a company called Anchor Bay, and they would release these VHS tapes in these big fancy clamshell like hard cases of various 80s horror movies. Like they had, you could get all Lucio Fulci films, you could get Zombie, The Beyond, Argento, and we had the whole collection of like 50 different ones of these really beautiful, like really thick cases. So that's where I watched those for the first time with my dad, and we would always make like a kind of quest out of it every weekend, going to try and find the new one that we wanted to see because you couldn't. I'm old. You couldn't just get it. You had to like find it somewhere. And then once you found it, you had to go to the video store and like check the runtime to make sure it was the uncut one because you could get like the censored copy. And it was fun. I sound about 800 years old talking about video stores right now, but this is all part of the kind of like fond growing up thing that got me like really into horror, and it's never really worn off.
Not exactly. I mean, like I even still, I'm like, I always value physical media. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I think it's unbeatable, which is ironic because I was rewatching Tarot for the first time in a while in prep for this interview. I was watching it on Netflix.
Oh,
So
cool.
it's ironic for me to say that, but I'm a big
Yeah.
physical media guy, so I know the feeling. I scour Movie Trading Co. I'm
Oh,
sure
yeah,
they
yeah.
I'm sure they have my
There,
face on a poster in the window by now,
pretty
looking
much
for
I've
weird
started
movies.
I've started trying to do like an hour and a half walk every day, like a 10,000 step kind of thing.
Mhm.
And because I need a destination to kind of go every single day, there's this place in Toronto that if you're ever in Toronto, where I am, I recommend you go by, called BMV, stands for books, movies, videos, which is redundant, but it's like kind of giant like warehouse thrift store where you can get people trade in Blu-rays and for all kinds of stuff. And like 99% of my quite large physical media collection is just from stuff I found there. So every day I go and make a walk there just to get my steps and see what new like 4Ks and movies they get in. They have a pretty good turnaround, and you can get a lot of really good stuff there. But yeah, it's very important, I think, these days to have physical media of the stuff that really matters to you. Especially with the advent of AI, like this thing came out today, I think, about how YouTube has just been using AI on videos without telling anyone, and you can't opt out. And they're already doing it with, physical, like various streaming sites and stuff. So it's best to get like it locked down now before they, fuck around with it.
Oh no, I totally agree, and I'm Ari knows I'm such an AI hater.
Oh God,
I've been
thank
very
you.
vocal on Twitter as well. I'm
I
an
fucking hate
AI
it.
hater.
It's the worst. I hate it. It's
So,
not good in any way. There's no good version of it that's ever going to exist. And I think we're right at the right. I think we're pretty much right at the bubble popping. We're like right
I
about.
hope so,
I
man.
think it's about to go like NFTs did, because those, who gives a shit about those anymore? It's going to be the same exact goddamn thing.
I've said the same. I said, AI is very, like you said, very NFT.
Yeah,
It's a fad. It's
that was the
gonna be
last one.
phased
Yeah.
out very soon.
They're trying so hard to make it be something that we need and can't do without, to the point where they're just shoving it down our throats. But it honestly, it hasn't done anything good. It doesn't do anything good. It can't do anything good. It's dog shit. It looks like dog
I
shit.
mean, how long have humans made things, especially made art, without
Yeah,
generative AI?
yeah,
Versus what, the
yeah,
last 2 years?
yeah.
Now we've evolved. Now we have.
Yeah.
Now it's
And
time
there's
to
all
evolve.
these, they always bust out like the argument that, like, it's like, oh, when the camera came around, all the artists were angry at that. And it's like, no, man, the camera does not, the camera does not, you're not typing shit into a machine that's swiping it from other artists and jamming it together. And this, I could go on honestly
Yeah,
for like
that's
forever
it.
about, I hate it. It sucks. It's not good.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah.
me too.
Yeah.
We're in the AI hate train.
Yeah.
Um, which especially given like you're an artist, and
Yeah.
I'm a guy who loves art. And I love movies. I love art. I love. I think I'm not a great artist, but I can appreciate good art.
Yeah.
I'm more of a doodler, sketcher guy.
Hey, honestly, all it takes, the whole thing, the idea of talent is honestly bullshit. It's just doing it a lot. That's it. Just do it a
Oh,
lot, and you will get, good to great, depending on how much time you put into it. That's literally the only thing. But it has to be like years and years. But like anybody could be an artist and is an artist. They just have to put the time in, I think.
I'm so glad you brought that up because I mean, and I know we've been beating up AI a lot, as we
Yeah.
should. We hate it.
Yeah.
But I see that same argument where it's like, oh, now anyone can be an artist. It's like
You always
anyone
could.
can be an artist. That's always
Always
how.
could always be an artist. Yes.
Go to the dollar store, buy a paper and a pencil,
Yeah.
and just go to town. Now you're an
Yeah.
artist.
It'll look bad, but just keep doing it and it'll be better every time, and you'll see that growth. And you'll get to a point where you're doing it because you're just expressing yourself, or you're having fun. And it doesn't have to be any grand thing. Like, it doesn't have to be. I think that a lot of people who use AI art, which isn't even art, it's not about the process. It's just about them wanting an easy end result that they can make money off of. And that's not why I think people generally make art.
Agreed. Um, this I did have this question written down
Yeah,
for talking about art. What is your because I'm a guy who deals with I mean I'm more of a writer filmmaker
yeah,
guy,
yeah.
but I feel like every artist deals with this. What's your kind of remedy for an artist block or being stuck in a sort of
Oh
creative rut?
God. Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I think that the only thing you can do is kind of if you're working as a creative for a long enough period of time, you'll start to see cycles of burnout and kind of bouncing back from burnout and creative block and then breaking through creative block. And I don't really think there's any one method to like get through it. Well, I guess burnout's different than creative block because burnout, you can find yourself doing work that you think like you don't like as much over and over because you're tired and just all these things have added up. But if you're feeling like creative block, I think just do something else. Like just try to take the pressure off. Like try and find inspiration in other things than art. Like try and find inspiration in unexpected things. If you're an author, I would imagine like read something different, read something completely out of your genre that you're working in. Go for walks. I can't recommend. I've already. This is the second time I've brought up walks, but just go for as many walks as you possibly can. It's the best. Go to the gym if you can. God, that always makes me feel better in any way. Um, just try and do something else and try not to think about it for a while, and then it just goes away. Is the normal, the simple answer, I guess.
that's a pretty good answer. I like that
Yeah,
because it's true.
that's
Like, sometimes you gotta
that's.
step away from the computer and or
Oh
from
my God,
whatever,
yeah.
like
I mean,
workstation.
yeah, aside from anything else, everyone should be as far away from any computer or social media app as you possibly can because you should treat it like radiation, honestly. Like for your mental well-being and your creative drive and your just anything good in your life. You should treat it like a radioactive isotope. And I'm speaking as someone who's like totally addicted to shit like that because it's become so intrinsically tied to my career.
Hmm.
But I am trying actively to like really limit how much time I'm on, say, Blue Sky or Instagram, because it really does affect your brain and your body and your mind.
Oh yeah. But I've been trying to be on Blue Sky more because I've been on Twitter too much.
Oh
And I'm
God,
like,
yeah,
I need to be as consistent as the thing. I hate Twitter. I hate what's been going on with it, but it's like my
yeah.
addiction.
I can't even,
I've
yeah.
been going down with the ship. I've spent too much time on Twitter. I can't
That
just
ship
drop it
is
now.
The ship is down, man. That one is Twitter is the worst. Like the worst of the worst of the worst.
Oh yeah.
I had to make the decision to like fully delete everything on there and lock it down. I still can't pull the trigger completely on deleting the account because I have like 600,000 followers or something, and I feel like it might be detrimental to my career in some way in the future. Like because certain times like projects will go ahead or won't go ahead depending unfortunately on how many social media followers people have. So like just
Right.
having that as a thing I can point to as like, hey, there's this unused Twitter account that has like 800,000 followers. But if I delete that, like, I won't have that. But that said, it is totally locked down, and I do not go on there because it is like a living hell escape. It's a nightmare. It's the worst thing in the world, I think, right now.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely get your point on like not wanting to fully shut it down. And
Yeah,
I've built up kind of like I've started like getting more and more like of a network there, and I'm like, well, now I can't.
yeah.
Like, I think it was when it was like year before last at Fantastic Fest. Funny enough, Scott Derrickson followed me on Twitter,
Oh, yeah,
and
cool.
that's when I was like, I can't shut this down now.
I know,
I'm like, I
right?
gotta keep it because now I have like that's just super cool. It's a huge honor, so I'm like, I
And
can't
I also
go.
like it's such a sad thing what's happened to it because like for a long period of time, Twitter was like a real place where artists could connect with other artists. And like I still have a huge pile of friends that I met there and artist friends, writer friends. People I've like since meeting them have met up with them in person and had a great time. And I would that wouldn't have happened without it when it was good and a real site and not just like kind of a Nazi propaganda right wing shithole.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I
Which
mean, like
it's just sad, yeah.
even when like trying to market this show, I had to ask Ariana to like try to reopen her Twitter account so we can like both have
Yeah,
access to the official Instagram page. And I'm like, I hate to ask, but
yeah.
could you
It
do it?
it sucks. It sucks. There's nothing good. It
No.
just sucks to be an artist trying to, make a living on the internet these days because it's basically they made the internet into four websites and then they made those four websites into hellholes. So
Yeah. Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Funny you mentioned Fantastic Fest. I've always wanted to go to Fantastic Fest. I've never made it out, but hopefully someday.
Oh, dude, if you ever, I go every year to do like press and do
I would,
reviews.
yeah. Oh
So
no, oh nice, yeah.
if you're ever there, hit
Yeah,
me up.
I will, absolutely, yeah.
Watch some movies together.
Yeah. I mean, likewise, if you're ever in town for the Toronto International Film Festival that's about to happen, I managed to get a couple tickets to the Midnight Madness program. I'm excited about that. But God, getting tickets is so rough. It's
That
so
one's on my
hard.
bucket list. Yeah, that one's
Yeah,
on the bucket list
it's
to
really fun. Midnight Madness is like unreal. I've gotten to go a couple times, and you'll never find a better audience. At midnight every single night, 10 nights in a row, and it's often like movies you won't see for like 5 6 years before they get picked up.
I remember you had mentioned on Twitter, Tiff. I think that's when Late Night with the Devil had premiered.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
because I think it was your tweet where I like first I really found out about Late Night with the Devil
yeah,
because it was just starting its marketing blitz, and you're like, oh, I saw this a year ago, and it was super good. That's when I was like, okay, Henderson approved.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
and David Dismalkin's in it. All right, we're seeing that, and it became
yeah,
like my
yeah.
favorite horror movie of that year. So,
Oh, really
uh,
nice. Have you seen? Oh God, History of the Occult? It's a movie called History of the Occult.
no, I haven't. All right, have you seen that one?
No, okay. So like it is basically the same sort of vibe as Late Night with the Devil with like a live transmission of a late night talk show. It's an Argentinian film in black and white. And I mean I like Late Night with the Devil, but this one is like a modern masterpiece. You should really check this movie out where it's about like kind of these like revolutionaries in Argentina trying to use this late night program to reveal like these like occultists and warlocks working in modern society to like you integrate like supernatural rituals into like business and it's crazy. It's like such a cool movie, and it's like a very much a hidden gem. I try and tell everyone to see it, but especially if you like Late Night with the Devil, you will love this movie. You should definitely check it out. It's called History of the Occult.
Well, let me add that to my watch list real quick.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. Yeah, I try and shout that out wherever I possibly can. I
From in 2020,
Yeah,
Christian
that's
films.
probably right. Yeah, it's a black and white movie and it's Argentinian.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's really good.
Cool.
It's probably on like Tubi or something. Everything's on Tubi.
I was telling Ari the other day I love Tubi.
Yeah, it's
there's a
great.
yeah, it is on Tubi. It is on Tubi with
Yeah,
Prime Video.
perfect. Yeah, yeah,
Hell
yeah.
yeah, thank you,
Give that one
Tubi.
let me know what you think if you watch it. It's really cool.
Oh, for sure. Dude, Tubi saved my ass when Netflix took Goosebumps off. Now they only have like the two-parter specials. Like the
Oh,
Goosebumps library on Netflix went from like 40 episodes to 12 like overnight. It was so sad. But then
yeah,
Tubi put the whole thing on there like the same week. So they saved my ass
nice.
right there. It was great.
Yeah, Tubi's great, and honestly, like the number of times I've like found out about a hyper obscure like regional horror movie, and then I've just searched on YouTube, and like the director has just uploaded it 8 years ago on YouTube in full, and there's like nine views. It's happened a bunch. It's great. Always check you just randomly check YouTube because you'll be surprised.
I gotta start doing that then.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so another question.
Yeah.
Following that, so much of your work is based on cryptids and monsters.
Yeah.
So this was kind of a two-parter. Firstly, what do you think goes into making a good creature or monster design? And
Um. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
and then after that is, do you have a particularly favorite cryptid or urban legend type monster?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I mean, personally, I there's a ton of different, kind of like rules for creature design, and I'm sure they're very, hyper specific. But for me, I always try and do focus on silhouette when I'm making a creature. If you can like kind of make an iconic or distinguished silhouette, just a full blacked out shape, and recognize that as a specific monster and have it not be kind of generic, that's a great starting point because no matter what, it's going to stand out in that way. And then just for me, if I'm trying to make something that's scary, I just try and mix a combination of like, I try and go really abstract, because I feel like there's a really fine line between like something very scary and something almost like funny, and like how surreal it is, and seeing that in a really mundane kind of circumstance can make it really frightening. And then always like mixing in like human characteristics, identifiable like humanistic your human characteristics, sorry, always makes it really frightening to me. Like teeth or um yeah, human teeth, like human hands, like anything like that that can be like recognizable and stand out. And kind of be more eerie or frightening by the juxtaposition with like a very inhuman or even not even like just like completely abstract or surreal shape, I think is it can be really effective.
Well, I agree, and that does remind me of one of my favorite pieces of yours, like recently.
Mm.
It was the sleeping old man
Oh
design,
yeah.
that creature
Yeah.
where its face looks like a sleeping person, but then it's like its jaw is down here and its eyes are up here. I just thought that was cool. I'm like, that's like a cool, like, because animals have those sort of predatory and camouflage aspects, but
Yeah.
it's just that elevated to a very horror
Yeah,
level.
yeah. Thank you.
Um,
Yeah. I really
yeah.
like the idea of a creature or even like an animal like doing stuff that is human behavior or like making sounds that are like saying things like a human being, but then the realization that there's no sentience behind it. It's just like a call or like a learned behavior. I find that really frightening. Like the bear in Annihilation that's like calling out in a human voice, but it's like there's no intelligence behind it. It's just a noise that it's realized it can use to like call people to it. I find that kind of stuff really super frightening to me. Just that like slow realization that like, you know, being in the brush or the wilderness and then hearing like a normal sentence that would be completely fine in any other environment, and then realizing that there's like nothing behind it. There's no humanity behind it. It's like super scary to me. So I try and integrate that kind of stuff in my work, I guess.
Oh yeah, and it definitely shows.
Yeah, oh, thank you.
Of
And for
course.
the second part of your question, I have two answers because I there are like two fields. There's like cryptids, and then there's also like I really love there's like lumberjack like folklore monsters. I forget the actual term for them, but they're like slightly more fanciful, and I find them really interesting. They're um, you know, I think they're brought up in like West Virginia, the Appalachians, like those kinds of areas a lot.
Oh
They're
yeah.
things like the hide behind, which is a creature that is so thin that it can always hide behind any particular tree or branch, and you never see it because it's always behind you. Or there's this creature called the slide rock bolter, which is like a whale, a creature like the size of a whale, but on land, and its tail is like a big grabbing hand, and it hangs off the top of mountains and then waits till people walk below and then slides down the mountain and eats them in one big go. So I love all that kind of stuff. I think those are so cool. But for like more traditional, like modern cryptids, I really like Fresno nightcrawlers, which are just like legs walking around, like pants. It's really weird.
That's
Um,
crazy.
yeah, they're just like this video of it, and it's clearly, I'm sure it's just someone took some white pants and put them on like a clothesline so he could make them walk like this. But it's just these like disembodied legs walking through the night. It's really eerie. And then I really like this one creature from a case in Kentucky, I think, where like this family was like besieged over one night by all these little critters, kind of like goblins attacking them in the night. So you can look it up. They swear by it. Like this family was under siege by these monsters called the Hopkinsville Goblins for like 6 hours or something. It's really cool.
I think I heard about that actually.
Yeah, yeah. And like the design kind of caught on in all these different places. Like it got really popular in Japan. So if you look up the account of the Hopkinsville Goblins and the eyewitness drawings, and then you look at the Pokemon Sableye, it's the same it's the same design. Yeah, they just yeah. It's really good. There's a bunch of cryptids that kind of got translated into Pokemon and similar creatures and like Japanese stuff. It's cool.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to ask, like, what was your most unexpected inspiration for one of your cryptids?
The most unexpected inspiration. Let me see. Probably it might even be for Siren Head. I think Siren Head came about because have you guys heard of number stations?
Number stations?
Mhm.
Yeah. So number stations are a real thing and they're super spooky and they're basically just like unmanned radio transmissions that popped up after the war, and like I think there's still some still going today, where nobody had any idea where these stations were broadcasting from, or what their purpose was, or what they were doing, but you could tune into them on radios, and they would just be like weird jingles or nursery rhyme kind of sounding like tunes, and then just like monotone voices saying stuff like nine, orange, wolf, Florida, like really, really spooky and weird. And they're all different types. Um, and then people thought that maybe they were like um, broadcast channels for spies undercover during the war to kind of like tell them stuff in code. So when I was designing Siren Head, I was just like, well, what if there was a creature that was broadcast in these number stations? What would it look like? And that's kind of how Siren Head came about in the first place.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
hard.
but you can go on YouTube and you can just search number stations and listen to some of them, and they're really spooky and weird.
That's creepy. I'll have to check that out,
Yeah, yeah.
man. It's funny because bringing up Siren Head. I mean, he kind of like your one of your biggest
Oh, totally. Yeah,
creatures. Kind of really took off.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
a lot of people describe it as kind of like a modern Slender Man type thing.
Oh, totally. Yeah, yeah.
Which brings me to one question. How, like so not just Siren Head, but so much of your work has kind of taken on a life of its own within the greater horror community.
Yeah.
So what are your sort of thoughts on fan made, fan adaptations of your work?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think it's like one of the greatest like honors in the world to have made a character that like resonated with people enough that they care enough, especially these days when we're so like inundated with a flood of stuff at all times, to
Mhm.
have something stand out, especially just a character that I made on the internet that doesn't as of yet have a film or a TV series or a book or anything like that, to have it stand out enough that people care enough to write stuff and draw stuff for it is amazing. And at the same time, I think that especially when Siren Head really blew up, I think it was like 2018 or 20, no, it was 2020 because I made the character in 2018, and then it kind of sat dormant for a bit, and then 2020 it totally blew up in this really crazy, unpredictable way that I still don't really know why that happened. Um, I guess what I'm saying is it's good on one hand, but on the other hand, when it blows up like this, you have to kind of like make peace very quickly that it's not really yours anymore. It like it has become the internet's. It has been taken from you in this way that is unavoidable, and any kind of pushback against that is really tough because the general like people, not just any one person, the general populace on the internet will uh, they will take things that they like and then they will just do whatever they want with them. And you can't really do anything about that in a meaningful way. You can kind of like try and hold on to like your trademark because I like copyrighted the character and stuff like that. And I still love seeing fan art and all that stuff. But yeah, you just kind of have to make peace that people will take your character and then make up their own stories and do their own things and make their own projects with it. And that's just an unavoidable part of it. And just it's really cool, but you just have to be like really cool with that very fast.
Yeah.
You have to understand that right away, or you'll lose your mind, and it'll become your like full-time job trying to keep control of this character that's already gone basically.
Well, it's weird that you bring up that aspect because I did want to ask about, with Siren Head blowing up to such an astronomical proportion because I've seen like Siren Head toys.
Yeah,
And I was
yeah.
gonna ask, like, because you mentioned copyright, I'm like, is that
Oh,
from you, or is that an issue? Like, I don't think
oh
if
yeah.
you
It
can't
was
talk about it, no worries.
No, no, I can
But
totally talk about it. Like,
okay.
well, like I copyrighted the character. In Canada, there's already like, if you make something in Canada, there's already a kind of copyright on it automatically as long as you can prove you made the character. So I copyrighted the character in the United States. So like I kind of have like a loose thing if I ever needed to. If anything ever like really big happened, I would be okay. Like if we like decided to make a film, like if there was interest in a Siren Head movie or a TV series or something like that, all of which I cannot speak to, then then that's something that we could deal with that copyright. But like when the character blew up in 2020, there was a huge kind of third party stuffed toy industry that popped up, and all these bootlegs were everywhere and everywhere. and there was no way to shut those down. And that was another thing I just had to kind of be okay with very quickly is that people making, thousands and thousands of dollars off of my designs through, factories in China or overseas that were being sold through Amazon. Because if you want to shut those down, you shut one down, you file the lengthy copyright, whatever, and then three more pop up, and it's just your full-time job, unpaid, trying to like stop these. So you just have to be totally okay with that and totally cool with that, unfortunately. Thankfully now, over the last year or so, I've started to make like makeshift plush toys of some of my characters that are like officially licensed, and they look way better, I think, and are like better put together. So I'm kind of reclaiming that in a little bit of a way. And there's a bunch of really weird looking plush toys still coming over the next year. I think there's 6 or 7 that are still going to come out. And yeah, just kind of like reclaiming that merchandise and making official versions had been fun. But yeah, it really did blow up in like 2020 or so and become this whole weird cottage industry for a while. And then of course it was like immediately replaced by like, Skibbity Toilet and all those things that I don't really know what those are.
Yeah. There's a kiosk at my mall, and sometimes I walk by it, and occasionally I'll see like a Siren Head plushie, and I'm like,
I've never seen them.
I don't think Trevor has control over that one. I don't think that's
No,
fully
no.
him.
I didn't, but it became like I kept getting tagged in photos of them and seeing them, and at first I was annoyed, but then I was like, oh, I want to get one of these bootleg toys myself. And then by the time I was ever like in places that had those bootleg stalls, they'd already moved on to like the next thing. So I never been able to see one of the really terrible ones. Um, I'm waiting to go to like a Goodwill or a thrift store and find one. That'll be the real mark of that I've made it. If I can find one at a thrift store.
That's how you know you've made it big when you
Yeah.
see bootlegs of your own work. That's like,
Yeah. Oh, or if I go into like a used bookstore and I can find a copy of Scarewaves or Scarewaves 2, I will be so happy. I've already seen some library copies with like the little tape like index thing on the spine. Makes me so happy. It's the best seeing that.
I have a similar pipe dream with filmmaking. I'm like, I know once I see one of my movies
Oh
at
my
a movie
God.
at a movie trading co for $3, that's how you know I'm
Yeah.
Spielberg.
Or if you can walk into like a used like Blu-ray or a DVD place and find it like, you could get those like 3 movies for on one disc kind of thing, like horror movie combo packs.
I
That'd
loved
be
those as a kid. Yes.
Yeah, I still have one because there were tons of them, but I have one that was like it's the only one that where they released one and it's a DVD and it's 9 movies on one DVD and they're all great. Normally there's like maybe one good movie on these packs, but this one has like 9 that are amazing. I think it's like Chopping Mall, Ghoulies 2, 976 Evil, Chud, like a bunch of them, and I'm like, these are all like really decent movies on one pack. But yeah, those are cool. They should do those again.
I saw like a mega set of those. It was called the Terror Theater Horror Freak
Nice,
Fest. It
love it.
had 60 movies on there.
That's too
It,
many
it, it,
movies.
it was like $20 on Amazon, and I was like, oh, I didn't recognize a single title. And it's
Yeah,
movies from like the 30s to like the late 2010s, and I'm like, wow, I'm like, okay, this is gonna make
that those
a
sets are
fun
great
viewing.
because you'll buy them and they'll be like 54 of the 60 movies will be just like terrible. It'll be awful.
Mhm.
But then they'll be like Messiah of Evil will be just like slipped in there or something,
You hit that
and
one gem that made it all
you'll
worth it.
you'll hit the one gem, and just because you're not expecting it, it's like the same experience as like turning on late night cable was and finding like your new favorite horror movie or something at 1 a.m. It's the same sort of sense of discovery, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Actually, going back to the projects that people make out of like your
Yeah.
cryptic stuff, have you heard of this mod called Whispering Hills from Fallout 4? My friend Ryan is wondering because Siren's,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I heard about that. That was completely had nothing to do with it, but it was cool. Yeah, yeah, I saw clips of that. It was like Fallout with they put Siren Head in and as an enemy wandering around, right? Wait,
yeah.
the whole thing was like a Silent Hill kind of thing though for Fallout, but they added Siren Head and a few other monsters as well, is my understanding.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I haven't played it, but it looks really cool.
Yeah, it's because my friend Ryan like voice acts in it. He was
Oh,
wondering.
really? Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Nice, nice. Yeah, no, I haven't had a chance to play that. I haven't played any Fallouts since Fallout 3, so that was a while ago. Yeah.
for Fallout 2.
Yeah, me too.
I replayed a little bit of Fallout 4 not too long ago. I
Oh
like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have time for I wish I had more time to play video games. I don't have any. It sucks. All my friends have started playing Baldur's Gate 3 though, and they've just disappeared into the ether. They're gone.
I recently started getting back into playing Dead by Daylight
Oh, cool, yeah.
because they added Five Nights at Freddy's, and I'm like, damn it, they know how to bring me back.
I
They
always get a
added
little
that.
annoyed with them because I like the game, but I find it a little boring because it's the same thing over and over again. But then they'll come out with a new character or like a skin or something, and I'm like,
Mm,
whoa, it's great, and I'll buy the skin and I'll play it, and you don't get to see it. It's just you're just the same. It's the same thing. Other people see it, but
yeah.
it's first person, so they kind of trick me every time by paying like $8 to just
Oh,
play
did
the same game.
so you play killer a lot in that game then?
Oh yeah, yeah. I
Oh
always
yeah.
play killer, and but I'm bad at it, so everyone just kind of like stunts on me and does the circles around me and everything. And
That's my experience playing killer.
yeah,
I was playing as Leatherface the other day, and every time
yeah,
I play as Leatherface, I get bullied.
yeah. Leatherface is actually a
Yeah,
really tough one to play as. He's not easy.
but
I
he's
was
my
thinking,
favorite, so I have to.
yeah,
He's
exactly.
my guy.
There's a couple that I'm pretty good with, I think, but they're not any of the really like gimmicky fun guys. Like I'm terrible with like Pinhead and all those people, and yeah, but I haven't played it in forever. It's fun.
It's like characters like Pinhead and the Gunslinger or the Death Slinger. That
Oh
they
yeah,
look so cool, but I'm like, I feel like they're gonna be a pain in the ass to play as. So then I end up playing as like
yeah,
the Wraith, who's like nothing special, but I racked
yeah.
up some decent wins as him, and it's all that matters, I
I
guess.
in my memory, I'm pretty good with. There's one character that's like a lady with like a little Belial basket case guy sticking out of her stomach.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
twins. Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
twins. Yeah, so you can like play as her and then like have the little mutant run off and you can scamper around. I'm pretty good with the mutant. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, no, he's that. I only ever played as them, but playing against them is always a fun
Yeah. Oh
time.
yeah. Yeah.
Are they going to be adding any of your characters into Dead by Daylight?
Hey, they
Savior
could
reached
drive.
out yet?
No, they could drive a dump truck full of money up to my house. I'd go on it. I'd do it for a second, in a second. I think a lot of my characters are like, at least the ones people like really like are like too big for that game. Like they wouldn't be easy to mod in there. But if they just wanted to do like skins or something, I'd be totally on board with that.
Oh, sure.
Though I do
Hmm.
Uh,
feel like the one guy, he came out and I was like, this feels like they were influenced by my art a little bit. The one guy, his name's like the
yeah,
Unknown.
yeah, I knew. Yeah, that is very Henderson coded. I
I thought so. I didn't
did see
want to toot
that.
my own horn or anything, but it feels like they might have looked at my stuff and a few other people. Like there's this one artist named Omega Black who does like similar sort of. It
I like
looks
Omega
like
Black. Yeah,
Omega Black's cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I like a
Um,
lot of his work.
yeah, but yeah,
He did a really
I would jump at that.
he did a really cool Five Nights at Freddy's redesign.
He did,
he did
yeah,
like a fan remake of like what Springtrap looked like, and
yeah.
that is now one of my favorite adaptations of Springtrap in horror. I'm like,
I don't think I've seen that
that's
one.
oh,
My fa
I'll just send it to you later. It's
Send it
magic.
to me, yeah. My favorite thing I've seen of his is that he has a whole like his own personal canon of Silent Hill bosses that he made.
Oh shit, I don't think I've seen that.
They're really beautiful. Yeah. They're on the blue sky the blue sky. Yeah, I'll send them to you as well.
There's another artist that I really like. I'm embarrassed I can't get his name on the top of my head,
That's okay. What
but
does it look like?
he does like a lot of Hellraiser inspired stuff. Like he does like Cenobites.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
And he
It
does them for like different sins and different part. And they all look so fucking cool.
I don't know the name, but it's something like Francis Bacon, something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
I
yeah.
believe so. Yes.
I'm so if you're listening, I'm so sorry. I know I probably just butchered your name, but
Well, I
I
mean,
know the artist, and
yeah,
he uses like he actually models it with a like a digital sculpting program, I think, instead of
yeah, yeah. He uses
yeah,
a lot of 3D stuff.
yeah. He's
Gives
great.
it a very
Yeah,
realistic edge.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
uh, Also, you speaking of like adapting works and bringing
Yeah,
stuff from art to screen. You did the concept art for last year's Tarot,
yeah,
which is super fun horror film. I really like the concept, and I loved
yeah.
your creature designs for the
Oh, thank
Tarot
you.
monsters. Yeah, of course. So what was that like seeing your art brought into basically the real world on the big screen?
Yeah.
'Cause, like
Oh, I
that's
mean, it
like
was
that's a page to
incredible.
screen Trevor Henderson design.
Yeah. Yeah, no, honestly, it was so great working with them, and they basically were just like, here's the loose script, just like do whatever you want and go from there. And it was my first time working with concept creature design for film specifically. So I was I've done it a couple times since, but I'm still fairly new. But it was the very first time. And yeah, it was a pretty intensive, like it was a 3 month period where I would do drawings and then we would have a Zoom meeting the next morning. They'd say like we like this, this, and this. We don't like this, this, and this, and then I would do another like batch of 10 drawings every day, 5 days a week for like 3 or 4 months straight, I
Oh
think, because
wow.
there were I think 9 different designs for that movie. I'm pretty sure 8 or 9. And then, as we started with the ones that had the most screen time. So we did the first one we did was the devil character. No, the first one we did was Death, because that has a really prominent role at the end. The very like the mouthless kind of skeletal thing towards the end of the film. We
Yeah.
spent a ton of time on that one, and then we just worked our way backwards in terms of how much screen time they had and how much we had to really hone in on the look of each character. And then midway through the process, we brought on this guy named Dan Martin of 13 Finger Effects in the UK. Wonderful, wonderful artist and creator. And so basically, we would have Zoom calls where he could chime in and say, we don't have the budget for this, say, or like I can do this with like latex or like a costume or this or that. So it really kept it in the range of like it didn't have us wasting any time with me doing kind of concept work that was maybe too ambitious for the character and the budget. So we were like really, coming up with a design and then finding a way to do it practically in the real world on the same Zoom call, and then having it like as we went on seeing the different prototypes and different versions of it. So it was really amazing to be able to work with different creatives and professionals in that way to kind of like make this pipeline of going right from a concept drawing all the way to an actor in a on set as the monster. It was really amazing, and then I think they did a great job bringing them to life in the movie. Their focus on costume and makeup and everything, just eschewing too much CGI in every possible way, was really, really cool.
Oh yeah. And I think out of all the creatures, one of my favorites was the hermit.
Oh,
He
the
had,
Hermit
he
was
had, he
great.
had, he had the scariest design for me. Just like the kind of hunchback with the black cloak and the lantern. Like
Yeah.
I believe his scene was on the train, right? He was in like the
Yes,
train.
that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
That,
I
that,
liked
that
how he
scene
came
freaked
out.
me out. Yeah.
He was kind of like a triple concept like joke where like he was the hermit, so he was like the hermit like the card with the lantern, but he was also a hermit in terms of like he was supposed to look like a person, like a person dressed in rags, but also like a hermit crab because he
Mhm.
was wearing a skin of a human being. So it's supposed to be like, a hermit crab and also the hermit as the role of the card. But yeah, I think it came out really, really well.
Did you also do the drawings that were on the cards in the movie?
No, there wasn't time, and also like that's just not in my skill set to do like that specific kind of style. That was another artist whose name totally escapes me right now, but he is an artist in the UK who specifically, whenever you see like a spooky old woodcut style drawing in a movie, or like anything that looks like old timey like that, an old parchment paper drawing in a horror movie, in a folk horror film. And, oh, Richard Wells. His name is Richard Wells. Sorry. That's always he's the one guy who does that. So he was brought in, and just in the way that, there was the practical effects were being made from my drawings on one side. On the other side, Richard Wells was taking my concept art and making those cards from them. So it was so cool, like I said, to be working with these two different creative people in these two different fields in these opposite directions, kind of branching off of my own concept work for the monsters. And he did an amazing job. Those cards are so cool. I'm sure that if it ever gets like a fancy like boutique Blu-ray release, they can like do recreations of the cards or something.
Please.
I think that
I
the
really cool.
the vinyl record I think comes with a randomized tarot card from the movie. I'm pretty sure.
for that was a missed merchandise opportunity just to sell tarot cards with those designs.
Yeah.
I'd buy
To
those.
the,
Yeah.
to this day, I still get people asking. People, well, first of all, people assume I did them. I did not do them.
Mhm.
But I get people emailing me like, "Oh, are you ever going to release that set?" And it's not up to me.
So you talk about much you enjoy doing that. Is there any other sort of like you said you've done it a few more times since then? Is there any other like
Yeah,
upcoming horror or
yeah.
not even horror, but I'm assuming horror.
There's
You
a
know,
yeah. I've done creature concepts for 2 to 3 other horror movies that are coming out. I cannot speak to them yet because they've
okay,
not been released yet. But
fair.
I've been very lucky to have my work on tarot uh as a jumping off point to a couple more things. And hopefully it'll keep happening because I really love working designing creatures for film and TV.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
like just like the way you described the process, it sounded like a very efficient process. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's definitely really cool.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's slightly different each time, depending on the production and their requirements and what they're looking for specifically. But it's always fun.
I had one more question regarding like your work in film
Yeah.
before I turn over to Ariane. We'll do the Scarewaves
Oh yeah, yeah.
breakdown. But you had mentioned earlier that you can't say if there's Siren Head movie or anything of that sort, which is a question I did have.
Mm,
So I'll reword the question from are there any creatures being adapted into movies or television to are there any creatures that you would like to see adapted into movie? Like any of your
yeah.
creatures that you think would make a good movie villain or Shudder original series type thing, and which
Oh,
ones would they
absolutely. I think that I do think there's a good Siren Head movie out there. I think there's a way into that character.
be?
Personally, I would love to see. There's this one character I did a couple of years back, and I haven't really touched him or done anything with him since. Called the Man with the Upside Down Face. And I think he would be really cool and just like I don't know, some independent horror movie somewhere. I think it's a great visual, and I think that would be cool. Oh, and
Nice.
this is other character or group of characters I have called the Sisters of the Ever Sharpening Blade that I think would be really cool too.
I do love the Sister of the Ever Sharpening Blade.
Yeah,
I'm so glad you mentioned the upside down man, upside
yeah.
down face, because that is one of my favorite creatures of yours.
Oh, thanks. Yeah,
Yeah, of course. And I'm like, if I were to ever pitch Trevor a movie, he would be
yeah.
one of the like top three I would pitch.
I think
His
that
upside down face.
I think he I think you could write. I think it writes itself. I think that character could be in a really like because he just shows up at car accidents and like
The
mingling with the
attraction to
yeah,
car crash. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think it'd be cool. I don't know.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I love that. So Ari, you want to get into the scare waves portion?
I
Is that
guess I,
that's
of
awesome that you did
Thank
scare
you
waves.
for reading, first of all.
course I love reading. Horror is like one of my favorite things to like read.
Me too. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite author?
Favorite author. Just by God, it's such a basic answer, but I've just since I was a kid, I've just been reading Stephen King's tons of Stephen King. Just by pure quantity of what I've read, it's got to be Stephen King. But I really like Robert R. McCammon. I really like Shirley Jackson. I really like Elizabeth Engstrom, Manly Wade Wellman. Lots, lots of authors. But right now I'm going through the Dark Tower series by Stephen King for the first time, finishing it up. I'm on the last book now, and it's great.
It's good. I gotta get into that.
Oh,
Me
it's
too.
so good, so rewarding. I've been doing the audiobooks, and they are great. Cannot recommend enough.
It's awesome.
I've only read
Yeah,
the first one. I got to get ready. Mike
the
Flanagan's
first,
doing the adaptation.
yeah, the first one's good, but it's like not indicative of the tone of those books in any way, shape, or form. That one's very much a very like straightforward, like kind of Western with like a few other elements, but it gets into it and it's like this full post-apocalyptic horror, crime, Western fantasy thing with like that gets really meta and starts like it like Stephen King gets involved as a character and all kind. It's crazy. Yeah.
And that makes me even more excited for Flanagan's adaptation.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild.
It's
It's
gonna
gonna
be
be wild.
great.
Yeah.
I love Scarewaves. So like I really like the story about like Beacon Point and how it's like all interrelated stories. It kind of reminds me of like Gravity Falls and like Fear Street in a way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, Fear Street was definitely a big inspiration, specifically the Fear Street films that had just come out, which I loved. So that was definitely an influence when I was writing it, just having like, all these kids having to deal with their own specific monsters coming after them is very Fear Street. And it also just gave me a chance to, it was my first project like that, and also I was a little ambitious in terms of just like I'll have all these different characters, and then just like it'll give me a chance to put like seven different monsters in it. Because if nothing else, kids love monsters, I love monsters. There'll be just like a ton of monsters, and I'll get to make up a bunch of monsters. So that was the goal with the first one, and it's a little more focused of a story in the second one, I think, but hopefully it's still good.
Yeah, actually, when I saw the visuals, I was surprised because I was just like, this is for kids? It got
Yeah, honestly, I when I was doing it, I kept waiting for them to kind of like tell me to walk it back a little bit or tone it down a little bit, and they never did. They just kind of let me go to town. And because it was I guess the thing with those books was that when I was just making creatures on the internet in 2018, 2019, I was making stuff that I just personally felt was scary, and I didn't tone it down at all for kids, but a whole audience of very young children popped up for that content, for that stuff, and they love it, and they still do love it. I get tons of emails all the time, maybe less so than when Siren Head was really blowing up, but about like really young kids who love this stuff and they love reading and watching stuff that, has kid characters, but, you know, that feels like it doesn't talk down to them, It's not condescending. It's stuff that where there's real stakes and real danger. So when I came time to write something that was specifically for that audience, the last thing I wanted to do was start, condescending and making something that felt like really kiddie. Um, obviously there isn't a ton of like blood or violence or gore or anything in those books. I wouldn't want to do that, but I definitely wanted to make the monster stuff as scary as I possibly could.
I love that, honestly.
Yeah, I think stuff that might be a little scary or challenging for kids is like really important, especially in a kind of contained way, where you can like, go through it with these characters, hopefully, and then at the end, you understand it's just a book and you're good. It's fine.
True.
Oh, yeah, I've always been a big proponent of like gateway horror stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like for me,
So
it was like
important.
yeah, like it was like the Goosebumps series was that for me. Was just like
Yeah.
yeah, it's scary, but then it's a 30-minute runtime. Then after that, all right, we're cool, back to normal.
Yeah, I remember growing up like the scary stories to tell in the dark books, which obviously the art is inspired by. Where there was art in those books that I couldn't even look at as a kid. It so scared me so bad. So just being able to kind of like fulfill that exact same thing for like a new generation of kids and hopefully like get them hooked on being scared and loving monsters and making their own stuff up it was the goal, I guess.
Yeah. And like, was writing something that like you always wanted to do, or was it like blossomed out of your art?
It definitely blossomed into my art. I hadn't really, thought about it. Or I hadn't really like I thought about it, but I'd never had the time to actually like. Well, I mean, everyone has the time. I just never actually did sit down and do it. But when I got the email from Scholastic asking if I would be interested, it was like, of course, I would be into this. I grew up on the Scholastic book fair, and I would love to have something that could slot right in there as like one of the weirdo kind of like knockoff Goosebumps books that I read in the 90s, but making something like Spine Chillers or something, but for the next generation was the goal.
Um, that actually does remind me of like the Mayfair Watchers Society. Like,
Oh
I
yeah, yeah.
listened to that, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I mean, those are that Mayfair is all of that is inspired by my creatures and I just finally wrote an episode for the second season. I've been meaning to forever, but yeah, no, it's funny how those two came about where like I think it has something to do with like the way that my art, especially in the beginning, used like small towns and like the photos of like cityscapes as a backdrop. It really like lent itself to like putting scary stuff into these mundane environments. And that in turn kind of lent itself to stuff like Mayfair Watcher Society and also the Beacon Point Scarewaves books, both like kind of small towns dealing with really hopefully scary supernatural stuff.
That's my favorite trope.
Yeah, it's always good. I like it a lot. Obviously.
Something I've always really liked about your art is how it takes a lot of like a real life landscaping as the backdrop, and then because it does
Yeah.
add that otherworldly feeling to it, that interdimensional feeling where it's like this is clearly a real picture of an alleyway, but then there's
Yeah.
a Bill Cipher type monster
Yeah.
crawling down it, and it's like whoa, that's always one of my
Yeah.
favorite aspects.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like it was kind of twofold in that using photos of like real stuff in cities and small towns that people who were looking at the image obviously would like see on a regular basis kind of broke down a barrier and made it a little bit scarier because it's like an everyday environment that everyone was really familiar with. And then also in the early days of Twitter, people were sending me photos of their stuff to use, and I would just like randomly choose one, like a lottery. So it became like kind of like almost like a when Siren Head was really popular, people would it became like a game almost where like you could send stuff in and it was interactive to get your own specific monster in your driveway or whatever. People really like that. But yeah, I really like using really mundane, like everyday places to like up the mm, unnaturalness, I guess, of a creature
Mm.
there. Yeah, I guess if that makes sense. Whereas if
Mm.
like was, you know, if it was somewhere like we didn't you didn't see every day, it wouldn't hit as hard. The dissonance wouldn't be there, I guess.
Oh yeah, because like you know, and, like for sort of work, like day job work I do, I go to a lot of different venues and set
Yeah.
up their like cameras and stuff.
Oh,
So
cool.
I'm in like the back hallway of like hotels and music venues and all that, and like there's some creepy parts there that I've gotten used to, but
Yeah.
now I'm like I can imagine a Trevor Henderson creature coming around that corner. So thank you for
Yeah.
that. That's
That's
like
that's my goal.
always in
Making
the
it
back of my
cool.
mind.
Awesome. Thank you.
Of course.
But like with the Mayfair Watcher Society, like the world, such
Yeah.
a be like place. How much of the people outside know about the monsters inside?
I think that it's like a more. I think that first of all, I think we're purposely a little bit ambiguous about that.
Hmm.
But I think that this is something that happens in that world more than it happens here. But in Mayfair, it's just really turned up to 11. So like while people in the town aren't really used to it because there's already a precedent for it a little bit in the rest of the world. But I think that a lot of people outside Mayfair will treat it a little more like we do. Like, you'll hear stories about it, but it might not be totally confirmed, whereas it's like an everyday thing in Mayfair.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. But again, it's supposed to be a little bit ambiguous where like, yeah, some people will treat it one way and some will treat it another, I guess.
I was always wondering about that.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Um, Jacob, do you have an
What like so you said you wrote an episode for Mayfair for the upcoming season?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've wanted to write an episode for it's a show inspired by kind of my vibe and all my specific
Mhm.
creatures. Every episode it basically is off of um one random like photo monster I've done over like the last 5 or 6 years. And then they just bring in a bunch of really very, very talented writers and use them as kind of a launch pad to do a 30-minute episode for each episode. And I've wanted to, write one for a while, but I found it very intimidating. So I finally sat down and wrote one, and it's called Red Church. And it's inspired by House of Leaves and the back rooms and stuff with changing kind of liminal spaces. I find that really scary. So yeah, yeah, that's coming really soon. I'm not sure where it's going to be placed in season two, but once season two hits, it will be there, and I'm excited about it. Um, yeah, but mostly I'm kind of creative director where I kind of talk about the vibe and just keep the tone right, and other people write episodes.
Sure. I mean, you had mentioned earlier about like the gateway horror stuff and
Yeah.
taking that. And it reminded me of this note I made that a lot of your work is very reminiscent of early internet horror,
Oh
creepypastas,
yeah.
cursed images, chainmail type stuff.
Yeah.
If you look at this picture of Smile Dog, you'll die in seven
Yeah.
days. That type of situation.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, like, is there a certain amount of inspiration you took from that era in making your art, and was it your intention to kind of with that evolve that medium?
Oh yeah, I mean, I was definitely reading. I wasn't reading a lot of creepypasta at the time. I was really big on the SCP Foundation kind of when it was first
Hmm.
starting out. Now there's so many I can't ever keep up, but the SCP Foundation I was really big on, and a few other like key creepypasta like there's one called Sar Woods, Search and Rescue Woods that's really really good. There's one called the Dionea House about kind of like a Venus flytrap that looks like a suburban home. Um, bunch of ones like that that I was really really big on, but overall I didn't read a ton of them. I was definitely obviously influenced by like the Slender Man, the original photos that were happening on the Something Awful forums, where they kind of like that, generated a monster and just kind of tried to like make it seem as real as possible with the photos. That was definitely inspirational. But I definitely wasn't trying to push anything forward. I was mostly just doing it for my own, you know, it was just something I thought would be cool, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and then once people started to really respond to it, I just took it as a sign to keep doing it, and it kind of went from there, I guess.
I mean, like it's definitely like now kind of part of that medium and
Yeah.
that space of horror, which I think a lot of people can really really appreciate because that was such a fun era. Because
Oh, totally.
growing up with early internet horror stuff like that, and seeing how it's now evolved to bigger and greater things. Because you see like Channel Zero, that Shutter series takes a lot of keynotes from various
Yeah.
creepypastas, and I believe the guy who wrote the original uh, Candle Cove creepypasta, he that was
Yeah.
adapted into a Shutter series, and he also did like Local 58, which was a new
I
hit.
love Local 58.
Me
Yeah, that's
too. It's such a fun
Chris
series.
Straub. His stuff is amazing.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like Channel Zero, which is I think I'm the biggest Channel Zero fan. I love that show. I think it's one of the best horror things in general we've had in the
Mhm.
last 20 years. But I think that stuff like that and Local 58 and a few other things are kind of a stepping stone towards what we're starting to see now, which is um, stuff like people who grew up on those filtering the vibes of creepypasta into really weird new things, even pushing the boundaries of what we would think is a horror film. Like obviously we have the Backrooms being made into that A24 movie by the guy
Kane Parson.
thank you, yes,
Yeah.
who did the web series, the YouTube
Mhm.
series, which is amazing. But even
Oh yeah.
stuff like God, how am I forgetting this? The movie that's set in one house with the two kids and the
Skinamarink.
Skinamarink. Thank you, God.
Like
Skinamarink. I
that's like my all-time favorite horror. Like one of my all-time favorites, mostly from like the
yeah.
last 10 years. So I'm a big
Thank you.
Skinamarink
Yeah,
fan.
I love Skinamarink. I think it's so successful. I think that anyone who says that's just shots of a ceiling is being so disingenuous as to what that film is actually doing.
Agreed.
Um, I think this anyway. This is to say, I think Skinamarink and like we're all going to the World's Fair. I saw the TV Glow are kind of like the new thing being pushed forward by people who grew up on creepypasta on early internet stuff, ARGs, analog media, like all of that stuff. It's kind of mutating into this new thing, and those movies and a few others are just kind of the start of that being filtered into almost a new like subgenre or genre of film.
Mhm.
That's going to definitely be like horror infused, but also like maybe a new thing. I don't know. But I love
Oh
those
yeah.
movies, and I think it's cool seeing that kind of pipeline filter down through into these different influences and inspirations.
I agree. I completely agree. Because like I mean, Channel Zero, I think for a while that was the thing that I feel most captured the creepypasta vibe in a
Yeah.
narrative format. Because I feel like
Oh,
a lot of that
totally.
is so hard to capture into a digestible viewing sort of way. Which is
Yeah.
why I think a lot of people didn't get Skinamarink. I love Skinamarink. I'm
It's
the
great.
number one Skinamarink fan. A lot of people
Yeah.
didn't quite vibe with it, which I get, but it's so amazing.
I love it.
Um,
Yeah.
but like, a
I
lot of
can see
those
why
like
people wouldn't like it, but I
well,
love it.
yeah, because a lot of
Yeah.
those like feelings and ideas are so hard to put into that format. But
Yeah.
seeing, I haven't seen I saw the TV Glow yet, but we're all going to the World's Fair is
Yeah.
another great example of creepypasta adaptation, even though I don't believe it's based on any one
It isn't.
creepypasta.
It's just taking
It's
like
just
the
the
vibes.
vibe.
Yeah,
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 the ideas and the feelings of those.
yeah.
Um,
And like if you liked We're All Going to the World's Fair, you'll love I Saw the TV Glow. And I saw the TV Glow is really taking those same sort of internet vibes or creepy pasta vibes and also like 90s TV shows and filtering them through into like this really almost like melancholy, tragic new thing that's like not quite horror and not quite something else. It's really beautiful and really good. That movie will just I watched that movie and it made me want to like just stare at a wall for 3 weeks. It's like so devastating.
yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about it. I need to sit down and
It
finally
it's great.
give it a
It'll
watch.
clear time afterwards. You will not want to do anything. You'll just be really sad.
Yeah, I've heard it's a very like emotionally weighing film.
It
So
is. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I saw that when it came out and like the ending hit and the audience was just like stunned for a minute and everyone just kind of shuffled out into the night.
So when I watched Skinamarink, I caught its like 2 week theatrical run.
Me too. Yeah.
Watching that in the theater, the phone scene
Oh,
almost made me shoot out of my seat. I was the only one in the theater who reacted. I felt like a bitch, but also like
yeah.
it was that scary to me,
It's
and
such a
it still
mean jump
is.
scare. It's so because you
It's
know what's
so
going to happen,
mean.
but you can't tell exactly when.
Just something
Um,
as simple as the eyes going like
yeah,
that. It's like you can't do that to me. That's so mean.
yeah. Yeah, I was lucky I got to see Skinamarink before it came out with a screener.
Oh wow.
And I watched it on my computer before I'd heard anything about it at like 3 a.m. by myself, and it scared the shit out of me. And I think
That's
that's
the
the
ideal way
ideal.
to watch it.
And then next, I watched it in a theater with an audience at a movie theater, and it still scared the shit out of me. It scared the shit out of everybody. And then I got to see it on like a Discord screening with like just close friends, and it scared the shit out of them too. So it worked all three times in all three different ways. I can't wait to
Watching it.
see whatever he does next.
Oh, me too. I had him on the podcast like
Oh,
a year
really?
ago. Yeah, I was sending the link if you want to see the interview.
Yeah, yeah,
It
please.
was cool. He couldn't give me any details on what his next project is, but
Of course.
all he said is that a it's based on a time period like Skinamarink is. Like
Oh, interesting.
Skinamarink is like late '90s
Yeah,
lo-fi. You wake up in the middle of the night, and he said his new one is based on a certain time period that
but
he
not
thinks
the
would.
same time period is what
I
he's
don't
implying
believe
there.
so.
Yeah, yeah.
My guess is he's gonna go '70s, but
It'd be fun.
just
It'd be
because I love
interesting.
'70s stuff.
I love 70s stuff. It'd be interesting if he like kind of bucked expectations and went to like 2000s
Oh
instead.
yeah,
Because the early 2000s is a very specific vibe now that is popping up more.
you're a fan of the VHS movies, right?
I am. Yeah. No, I think that I mean if they keep putting those out, I'll watch every single one. I think that even at their worst, there's still one or two segments that are cool.
I agree.
Um The best one is VHS 94, which has every segment's good except for I didn't care for the wraparound, but every main segment of that one is amazing.
I had the same critique about the wraparound, but
Yeah, the rap.
the Ratma, the Empty Wake, the freaky camera POV one. I'm
My two favorites are in that movie. My two favorite VHS segments are The Empty Wake by Simon Barrett, which I think is
mm,
so effective and scary. All based around that one like gross chopped head corpse walking around. It's so good. And
yeah,
the other one, the only one of those that has had a plot like idea that made me angry, I didn't think about it. It's so funny and genius, is the same movie where it's the terrorist, the redneck terrorist group who have made a
yes,
dirty bomb out of vampire blood to blow up a building. That is such a funny, perfect idea. And also, that's the only one out of the entire goddamn series that looks like it was actually filmed on VHS.
I
Every
agree.
single why
Yeah,
would you
that
not why would you not embrace it?
I showed VHS 94 to my roommates back in college, and they said they didn't like the robot one because they said it was too long and it didn't feel '90s enough. Which
That's fair.
I understand the critique, but also it's a robot head with a machine gun. It looks like a
Yeah.
video game. Like you can't
Yeah.
hate that.
No. I mean
Historical accuracy be damned. It's
I,
cool.
I think that those are valid complaints, but also I think that what's going on in that one is too fun not to like it. Like you're right, but
Great.
I don't care, basically.
Yeah.
Um,
I think the Empty Wake was the scariest though. Because I agree that
Empty
I
Wake's
think
scary.
VHS 94 has like the best core
Yeah,
individual storylines.
yeah,
I think the VHS franchise got way better whenever it
yeah.
bought by Shudder and it got a new
Oh, totally.
producing team because VHS one is it's sleazy but it's got some good stuff in it. VHS
Yeah.
two and three I don't recall much of them.
VHS 2 has the cult one though, which is really good. That's the one where it's a like an Indonesian film crew in the cult compound.
Oh, I think I
You
know what you're
you
talking.
must
Yeah,
remember it. Yeah, that one's the best. It's really good. What was I gonna say?
I
Oh
remember
yeah,
VHS three
it's
had the skeletons.
the skeletons were pretty good. Yeah. Yeah. There's one. Each one has a good one, except for Viral. Viral's not very good.
I don't remember a single one from Viral. I'm gonna be
Wait,
honest, but
no, wait. Viral's the one. Viral is the third one. That's the one that has the skeleton skateboarding one.
oh
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
yeah, okay, yeah, okay, yes, you're right.
It also
But
has
I
one with
remember the
like
skeletons.
there's one in that one about like an evil magician like using magic tricks to kill cops in an
Oh
FBI raid or
yeah,
something.
I
It's a
remember
little
that
so
one. That one, I was like, "What's going on?" And this, like, from
yeah.
one minute to the next, I was like, what's the plot here?"
A
But
year or two ago, I got like the flu and was just like sitting at home sick, and then I spent like 2 days straight cutting together all the VHS films into their individual parts and assembling a Frankenstein monster of my favorite VHS segments in one film. And I called it Super VHS just for my own personal watching. So I have one that's just all the best segments in one movie edited together.
I'm gonna need a link to that now to
Yeah.
watch that.
Yeah,
Which
it's like 4 hours long, but you know, it's cool.
yeah. Well, no, because like Ari and I are excited for the new one coming out,
The Halloween one.
VHS Halloween, and because she had pointed out one of the directors directed Wreck, and I never seen Wreck until recently. So she told
Oh,
me to go
wow.
watch. She told me to go watch Wreck.
Wreck's
Um,
amazing. Wreck
it's
is
great.
so good. And you should always watch Wreck and Wreck 2 right afterwards is one film. They just like flow into each other. If you haven't seen Wreck 2, you gotta watch Wreck 2.
I haven't seen Wreck 2, so now I have to watch Wreck 1 and then watch Wreck 2. I have
Yeah.
to watch
If
Wreck
you
1
want,
again and then watch Wreck 2.
because Wreck 2 starts like 10 seconds after Wreck 1 ends and just
Really?
keeps going. Yeah. And it's like the aliens to the first one's sort of alien, where the second one you're following like a SWAT team into the building. And it's really good. Don't worry about there's like three other ones after that. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Just watch those two.
I was watching Wreck and I told Ari I was like I love this because it makes me happy for VHS Halloween because Wreck feels like a feature length VHS movie.
It does, yeah. Well,
But I
VHS was probably inspired by Rec to do their
yeah,
own. Definitely,
but
definitely.
but just how it's like it goes off the rails. But like with VHS, you have to go off the rails very quickly. With that one,
Yeah,
it takes its time to go off the rails. But when it goes off the rails, it's off the fucking rails.
yeah. It's such a tight movie. If you watch Rec, it's fast, 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 and then there's literally one scene dead in the middle where it's slow for one scene, and then it's fast, fast, fast until the end of the movie. It's crazy,
Oh yeah.
and it's really well paced.
So thank you, Ari, for recommending me Wreck. Oh my god. Can't believe I had gone years without seeing that.
Yeah,
Came
it's
out
so good.
came out
Don't watch the
2020.
remake. Yeah,
There was a remake?
it's called Quarantine. It's not good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's bad.
Oh,
It makes it into fully like a zombie thing, which I mean, Wreck is a zombie thing, but it's also like really interestingly like a possession thing also. And they make it fully like a science gone wrong kind of like outbreak kind of movie, which is just boring to me. There's so many of those.
that was my critique with watching 28 Days Later than watching 28 Weeks Later. Because
Mm,
28 Days Later, I love the filmmaking that went into it and how it's like the zombies are from it feels almost like a found footage movie at times.
yeah,
Because kind of like how people say Chainsaw Massacre, sometimes feels like a documentary. 28
yeah,
Days
yeah,
Later feels kind of like a documentary in its own way, where it's like
totally.
you're watching it from one spectacle, where the zombies are almost like wild animals that you're in their enclosure. And
Yeah,
then 28 weeks later, it kind of just feels
it's a
like
movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
it feels like a Call of Duty, like a Call of Duty, but with zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watching 28 Days Later, it feels like a live leak video. Like you shouldn't like some of
Yes.
it feels like released like murder footage on the dark web. And then you
Yeah.
watch 28 weeks later, and it's a film. It just feels like a film that you would see.
It feels too World War Z like, which I like World War Z, but
Oh,
coming
I
off
don't.
coming off the high of 28 days later, then seeing
Yeah,
28 weeks later, I'm like, oh, that's kind of a downgrade.
it is. Yeah. Yeah. No. Did you see the new one 28 years later?
I did.
I liked it. Did you like it?
I liked it. Yeah,
Yeah.
we both really enjoyed it.
It's definitely doing going in its own weird direction, but I liked it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can appreciate that the zombies are full on like another species now. Like they are like animals.
You'd have
Like
to. Yeah.
it's these naked, decrepit people, and it's like these aren't people anymore. These are
Yeah.
zombies,
Yeah.
and we have to accept that. And I
Yeah.
like that
Absolutely.
aspect.
Yeah.
I like the. I mean, I guess spoilers for 28 years later. I like the ending with the kind
The
of
ending's great.
the weird Power Rangers cult. I
Yeah.
dig that because people are like, why are there? I'm like, well, because someone pointed out like the idea that a bunch of kids that grew up in the apocalypse they
Yeah.
would hang on to the last pieces of their childhood they had, which was like Power
Yeah.
Rangers and cartoonish type thing. Like, so it makes sense for stunted adults
Yeah.
being like that,
And I mean
And
the first scene is them watching Teletubbies, and they're all color coded in the same way that
yeah,
they're
that's it.
color coded.
It was Teletubbies and Power Rangers that people were like saying the ending reminded them of, and
There's like a
someone else.
poster of Power Rangers on the wall at some point too, I think. Oh yeah, and the main kid has a Power Rangers
He
toy.
has a
Yeah.
Power Ranger, yeah, he, on his
Yeah, yeah.
nightstand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see where they go with it. I wish Danny Boyle was directing all three, but I'll watch them.
it's like that scene in 20 because you mentioned how it feels like live leak. It's like for me, like it starts when the zombie like looks up out of the like pile of dead bodies in the church, and you
It's so
see
scary.
part of its mouth is shut, so you just see its eyes and it's like gaping mouth. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's the part where I'm like, that shot sends shivers down my spine. I'm like, yeah, I shouldn't see
Yeah.
this. This
It's
is
so
not a
scary
thing.
because I think a lesser director would have gone with like a more horror movie like idea of having them just immediately run and be like screaming and scary. But having them like look up and look almost like shocked that anyone's making noise in that scene in the church and it just
Mm.
like has them standing there in shock for so long is so creepy. It's like one
Yeah,
of my favorite scenes in the movie. It's great.
because again, it's so animal like. It's like when you're disturbing an animal while it's eating. It looks up and it's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like get away from my habitat before I bite you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. Ari, did you have any more questions to cover before we have a few fan submitted questions
Oh,
to kind
sure,
of
yeah.
round off the episode, but
Yeah.
Ari, did you have anything else to? Nope.
Cool.
Alrighty then. So we have some fan questions. These first two are from my good friend Christopher Yancey. Shout out to Christopher. He said, "Dear Trevor, what influences your art? Do your creatures represent real or unreal fears?"
Um, what influence? I take influence from like all kinds of different stuff. Obviously, tons of like horror movies and horror novels and stuff that I see in terms of creature design that I think is interesting. But like, yeah, it's just me trying to do my own spin on things, and they don't really influence any real fears. I kind of find them more like sad or interesting than scary, I guess. I'm scared of more like, intangible ideas like hostile architecture and like buildings that hate you and shit like that. And more so than like monsters. I like monsters. I think they're cool. Like they're really like a very fun, comfortable thing to me. So I don't ever really get scared by them, I guess. In terms of my own art, I guess.
And when you mentioned like buildings that hate you, the first piece that came to mind was I forgot the title of it, but it's the doorway that has teeth.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, the smile room. Yeah.
Smile, yeah, the smile room.
Yeah, I should draw that again. That's always fun.
It's that's like one piece that's always stuck out to me. And
Oh, thanks.
when you mention buildings that hate you, I'm like that building doesn't seem like it likes me that
No, it doesn't.
much. He asked another question saying, what scares you the most, and does it affect your work?
Scares me the most. Um, yeah, I think that the stuff I'm scared with is just like boring, mundane shit. Like, disappointing my loved ones and like not being able to like pay my bills and provide for my family. So it's kind of not stuff that influences my art or the kind of thing I like. It's like I love horror and monsters so much that it's like really a fun diversion for me over like the really stupid shit that I find really actually frightening. So yeah, weirdly, fear is not like mixed up in my art for me. I love when people say that it affects them. I like getting any kind of reaction out of anybody to my art, like any kind of thought at all. It's great at this day in this day and age. But personally, no, I don't find it scary.
Sure. Um, so our final fan question comes from Pink Fang Pictures. Shout out to Pink Fang Pictures, big fan of ours. They said, I recently saw a meme that really resonated with me. Quote, you're right. uh,
Yeah.
they said, quote, woodworking is a great idea until you realize it's 90% sanding. What is the sanding in your medium, and how do you stay engaged during the boring parts? Really enjoying the show, Jacob and Ariani, and keep it up, y'all. Thank you,
That's
Pink
a
Fan
great
Pictures.
that's a really good question. The sanding, I guess I don't know if there's a one-to-one comparison in terms of the sanding because I love the process of like, especially when I'm doing like fully digital pieces that don't use photos. I love mark making and like painting and working up and rendering and all that stuff to get it to a place where I really like it. Um, and then like the equivalent with the photo stuff is like putting down forms and then trying to like make them feel like they fit in the photo through like lighting and tone and color and light sources and shadow and all that stuff to just really try and make it feel like something like a figure with substance that is actually existing in the environment that the photo is taking a photo of, or the photo is a photo of, I guess. I guess the boring part, I don't know. I mean, like, there's always going to be a bit of that sanding when it's like a commission. It's not your idea and it's something you're doing for somebody else. That's unavoidable. But I've been pretty blessed with getting mostly commissions that, are in my wheelhouse of a gross monster face or like a creature design or something like that. I do have to fiddle all around a lot, especially with the photo ones where like, you'll paint and render out an entire monster, but you'll have to decide how much of that to erase or put in the shadows or push back so that it feels like it's actually in the scene. So there's a lot of fiddly bits where it's like I want to show off this creature design or these details that I painted, but it wouldn't feel right in the photo, so you have to lose a lot of that stuff. Then just going back and forth on that and trying to make it the best it can look is a little tough.
Yeah, I would say like when it comes to putting like a real life image as the backdrop, I can imagine that there is some struggle
Yeah,
in connecting the two mediums.
yeah. If I can get a photo with a really strong light source, that's beautiful because the second you can have a convincing shadow or a backlit, to make it the light hitting it in a specific way, it really, really sells it to the viewer as it being like part of the image.
And when people send in an image, are you looking for like where the creature can emerge? Like, can it come from this alleyway or this doorway? Or
Yeah, I mean, usually at this point, I've done so many of them over the last like 5 or 6 years that, excuse me, as soon as I see an image like that, I'll be like, it'll kind of just leap out almost fully formed where it would be. And then it's just playing around with like shapes and stuff until it's the monster that I want to be there, I guess.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Um, so to kind of wrap things up, do you have anything you want to plug or share with the
Yeah.
audience before we wrap it up?
Yeah. I'm still on Instagram until the internet blows up and I'm posting art there and that's probably the best place to see my stuff. And you can pick up Scarewaves 1 and Scarewaves 2, Scarewaves Beyond the Grave at most booksellers. Yeah, they're both out now. And hopefully if people buy them, I'll get to do a third one.
Oh, well, awesome. Thank you so much again for taking the time to come on Talking Terror. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, of
It's
course.
been it's been a blast chatting with you about
Same.
all horror.
Yeah.
I love that we got to nerd out about the VHS movies and creepy
Yeah.
pasta.
Oh yeah, it's great. Like, I can't wait for that Halloween one. It'll be good.
Oh, me too. Oh, it's gonna be so good. I'm gonna try to see it at Fantastic.
Yeah. Let me know if you
Yep.
do.
Oh, absolutely. I will send you the review if I get to watch it.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much again, and hope you have a good one.
You as well. Thanks again.
Thanks. And thank you guys for tuning in. We really appreciate it. And be sure to subscribe and follow us on all of our social media pages. And as well as wherever we're streaming. We're streaming on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And we'll provide all those links down below in the description. Thanks so much, guys. Peace.